Right, I was trying to dock, as I recall. If I may be allowed, the dock is rarely used, and its maintenance has lapsed. There's evidence of rust and metal strain, but only of non-crucial components. It's safe to stop for now. Once inside the dock, the sun's scouring light is diminished. Arrival at the sun, an outpost on the roaring edge of the sun, shielded from malevolent light by an eggshell of stained glass. As you emerge from the train, suit-swaddled engineers gather, plainly astonished by your arrival. They bombard you with complex questions about how you dealt with dense sunlight and skewed chronosolar fields. Once satisfied, they hand out protective suits to you and your crew. Yours is patched and torn, one boot missing. You successfully reached the Clockwork Sun. Splendid. Shrug into your suit. An engineer sprays you with a substance that smells like lemons gone wrong, and searches your pockets. A cursory effort at best. They seem distracted. Sunlight seeps like syrup through cracks in the stained glass ceiling. The floor shudders in time with the churning machinery far beneath your feet. The air has a tang of chemicals, bonfires, and rain. Pistons pump, cogs turn, and suit-swaddled figures tend to the enginery, bellowing over the shrieking metal. Well, definitely we want a port report for this, but... oh no, it's alright. Clockwork Sun is the preeminent symbol of the Empire's heavenly dominion. I see how terror is throbbing. The newspapers in London call it enduring, everlasting, eternal. But it's not. The heart of the Empire. In response to your questions, the engineers shrug. The day dawns, the sun brightens. The night comes, the sun dims. What more is there to say? Some of them seem so exhausted they can barely stand. They insist it's proximity to the sun that affects their sleep. Uh-oh, you now have one yearning burning. Now, if that means what it means in C, that's not a good thing. We won't be coming here too often, I think. We need to be careful here. Head toward the sundial-shaped building. You'll be the sequencer's new favourite project, one of the engineers tell you. It'll keep him out of our hair for a while. Visit the glass house. There's a dozen warning signs warning you to stay away. Well, then I shall. Descend to the vaults. Safer. Let's start with that then. And we've gone up. We've got 500 experience, and we've gone up. Gone up a level, as I was hoping. We can deal with that in a moment then. Beneath the machine-bristling surface, you find a ring of 9 vault doors, each engraved with the name of a classical muse. 8 are locked and barred behind signs saying things like vacant, or under renovation, or in one case, unfortunate chronological discrepancies. The 9th, marked Terpsichore, is the only door open to you. When you enter, your footsteps ring through dusty barracks and abandoned canteens. These are the engineers' quarters, but they are all on the surface, working, except one. The broken steward has been working on the sun since before it first shone. She has been here far, far longer than any of the engineers above. Okay, I don't know how far our yearning burning can go, but I don't want it to go too far. We shall speak to her. The broken steward makes her way carefully towards you, cane clanking on the floor. She has a markedly stiff-limbed gait, and her arms creak as she removes her helmet. She smiles, her teeth glint oddly. She catches you glancing at her mouth and smiles even wider. Her teeth are shards of cracked glass, protruding at odd angles from her gums. "It's not just the teeth," she says, with a brusque air that brooks no sympathy. "Damn sun needs to turn my bones as well. Terrible nuisance, really. Gets in the way of work." You notice her fixed neck, her stiff limbs, her careful movements. "It's not too bad," she says. "Good thing I like soup." Well, that was enlightening. So we'll head towards Azimuth. The engineers wave you onward, shouting something cheerfully derogatory about the sequencer. It's mostly lost in the roar of pistons. Azimuth. Azimuth is an enormous sundial without shadow, its roof topped by a golden shark fin gnomon. There are still racks of yellowed pamphlets on the walls. It once served as a kiosk, selling tickets to sunspotter tourists. These days it is something more like a temple. Frescoes on the curved walls depict the triumph of the new sun over the old. A figure in a yellow-collared protective suit is delivering a sing-song sermon to mostly emptied pews. A dazzled sequencer looks up, delighted at your approach, and hurriedly wraps up his speech. He offers you tea with a flash of 2 white teeth. Ask the dazzled sequencer about his role on the sun. The only other people up here are disturbed prisoners and exhausted engineers. The sequencer's function. I am a priest of the new sequence, declares the sequencer. The brightest truth, the wildfire that has swept Albion. He points out at the expanse of the sun. There burns a beacon, a saviour, an aspect of God. We venerate the Clockwork Sun and its immortal architect, our Empress. I'm here to greet pilgrims and safeguard the souls of our engineers. Azimuth is also the only access route to the sun-shuttered dome, an exhibition hall that was built back when we received more visitors. The dome is terribly dangerous, and I advise you to avoid it no matter how much you hear about the priceless artifacts inside. The sequencer has a request. Let's find out about that. Together we can help the less fortunate, he says. You will be compensated for your time. Good. Because I really need some money. A charitable mission. Right. There are many poor souls out there in need of our help. Beleaguered, ignorant masses. I've never met them, but I am assured they exist. He pauses to wipe his eyes. When we lift them from their contemptible state, perhaps they will come to appreciate the greatness of the sequence. He sends an orderly to fetch a wooden crate. Once it's set down before him, he raps the lid proudly. 600 manuals on how to correctly tie a bow tie. Deliver these to Brabazon Workworld, and I'm sure they will be immensely benefited by their improved understanding of etiquette. Right, I think we're gonna leave and we're gonna go back. I think we're gonna go back. This is something. Look at the size of this thing.